Hey friends, welcome back. If you're new, my name is Ashley and I am a homeschooling mom to 4. And today I am talking about something that I searched high and low for on YouTube and I could not find a single video on this. I wanted a mom who had used 2 cores for Sonlight to explain how they did it, in what schedule, in what order, and I couldn't find a video. So I am sharing what I have come up with myself in case any of you guys may find yourself in this situation later on, or maybe you're in this situation currently and you're wondering how I'm going to make it all work. Because let's be honest, to some people, Sonlight is a lot of reading. Some people feel that Sonlight is like way too much. Obviously, I do not believe that, or I wouldn't have ordered it for myself. I love it, but it is a literature-based Christian homeschooling curriculum. So there is a lot of reading involved. And that was my initial apprehension when I was trying to figure out if I should find something else, or if I'd even be able to handle reading 2 cores, because let's be real, there's only enough time in a day, and I didn't think I could be reading like 6 books at one time. So I've devised a little plan, and I'm just going to share with you guys what that is. So if you are not at all familiar with Sonlight or how it all works, I really recommend that you check out some of the other videos because I'm going to brush past all of that. This video is only going to make sense to people who kind of know how Sonlight works. So I will leave a link if you guys want to check out how Sonlight works, what it all includes, and all of that. But when I say the word core is like the centerpiece of your homeschool. And then you branch off individual subjects for your kids like math, spelling, writing, etc. So the core is like the history, the geography, the Bible, the read alouds that multiple ages can listen to and enjoy, and then they have their individualized subjects where they're working on like their math skills and those things. So the core is what I'm talking about here, and I'm just going to show you guys what I picked up from Home Goods, because my schooling space is in the main living area of my home, and so I try to find neutral things that blend in with my home decor. So I have this kind of distressed tote that I got at Home Goods, and you can see we are on summer break, but I have filled it up for this video when I was doing some planning and kind of considering what I'm going to do. So I'm going to jump right into explaining to you guys how I plan to make 2 cores work for my family, with me being the only teacher. My husband works a full-time job. I work part-time. So I think that the system that I am thinking we're going to go with is going to work well. Obviously, I will give you guys feedback once, we're executing it, but this is my plan. So just so you guys know, in that basket, I have my instructor's guides. So this one is open, but this is Sonlight Core D, and this is Sonlight Core A. So I have 2 instructor's guides here. I got them spiral bound because I always get questions about that at Office Max, because for the way that I like to do, the way I like to use the Sonlight guide is for whatever week I'm on, I like to leave it open, okay? So this is gonna be week 1, and I will leave it open to week 1 until we have read all of this here, okay? These are the book titles, and the same applies for this Core A. So my plan is to utilize something called My Morning Basket, which I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with, but if you haven't heard of it, it's kind of a system that Julie Bogart, who is the creator of Brave Writer, she has a YouTube channel. I will link it for you, but she also has podcasts that really re-energize me as a homeschooling mom. That's a side note. But I will listen to them when I'm folding laundry or whatever. They are long, so I do have to go back to them. But My Morning Basket is really just a system that she I guess came up with, but I have tweaked it to my own thing. So The way she describes it is having a basket or a certain place that can be carried around. That way you're not trying to read at desks. You can read on the couch, or maybe you read in bed, or maybe you read in the backyard, or whatever. So your morning basket is what you start your homeschool day with. So this right here is my morning basket. So my morning basket is going to alternate. So what I am going to do is day 1 of the week, we are going to have it filled up with all of the books that I am reading to all of my kids for that entire week. For the whole week, not just that day, but for the whole week. And the reason why is because sometimes when I am reading to my kids, my Sonlight Instructor's Guide, for example, might say to read pages 1 through 7. I'll just use this book as an example. So day 1 might have me reading aloud page 1 through 7 on this book. But we get going and my kids want me to keep reading. And I will never say, no, I'm not going to read anymore, of course, unless there's like a good reason why. But if they're interested, I like to keep going. So I use my guide as framework, but I don't just do the pages exactly as it says. What I do though is the way I start and end my week is that everything is completed on the guide. So maybe on Tuesday, I have a lot of time and we're all really enjoying reading. So we read an extra chapter. Well, that's fine, as long as we stay on track. Just for my own peace of mind, no one is keeping track if I'm on track except me. So I will keep my guides open in my morning basket. I will have all my books filled for the whole week in that basket, and I will just read them to my kids, making sure that by the end of the week, we have read all of the books. That in all the pages that they have said. So on Mondays, I might read 2 chapters in this book, which would go with my Sonlight Core D. On Tuesday, I might read, I might read 2 chapters in this book, which would be my Sonlight Core A. In the morning, I might read all the pages for the whole week at one time that they have said to read for Sonlight Core A for this. And then at bedtime, I might read my pages from this. So you can see that my morning basket is really just going to be filled each week of all the books from Sonlight Core A and Sonlight Core D. I will then have my instructor's guides open. And we will just make sure by the end of the week that everything has been read on both of these guides. But I am not going to be sticking to the guides daily, just reading the page numbers. For example, I know it's kind of hard to see, but you can see right here, this says chapter 1. Well, I might read chapter 1 and 2 that day. But just as long as I stay the course, then that's what I am going to try to do. The other thing that I am going to do to make this work is I am going to consolidate the parent reading in the Bible. So Sonlight Core A has different scriptures listed out than Sonlight Core D, and they each have their own Bible section. I am going to just alternate between the 2 and just condense that down into 1. So that is really the only thing that I am not going to be doing as they recommend it, just because, reading God's Word can be applicable to everyone at any time, at any age. And I don't think that there's a difference in the scriptures in Core A as there are in Core D. So that is going to be the one thing I do, but I will switch between the 2 just to bounce back and forth, but I will be consolidating the Bible. And so that is my plan. And so if you're wondering if my little two, who will be 5 and 7 when we start our new school year, are going to be listening to Core D books, they will be, but I will not require them to. So if that day, say for instance, we're on a Wednesday, and I go through whatever I'm reading from their Core A, I always save our read aloud kind of for the last thing. And it is this one. It is The Secret of the Andes. And they are not interested in listening to this book. Then they can go off and play for a little while, and I will read this to my older two. I know for a fact that my older two are going to want to listen to me read this book, and so I have a feeling the older two will want to listen to the younger two's books, and that's going to be fine. And the same goes for like these books. So this is one of the read alouds for the first week for Sonlight Core A. My older two are definitely going to want to listen to this. They won't care. But you know, maybe this is another read aloud for the Core D, the American Indian Prayer Guide. My younger two might listen to it, but they might not, and that's okay. So that's kind of the way I'm going to do it. We're going to read our Bible all together. There's no negotiating on that. Then I will move into the history portions. So that's going to be, you know, utilizing like this Mother Goose book, as well as this right here, and my older two will enjoy this. And then depending on whatever day it is for the read aloud, I will determine which one I'm going to read that day. And if it is for the older two, then the younger two can go off and play, or they can stay and listen. And then if it's for the younger two, I know the older two will stick around. And then any reading that we don't happen to complete in our morning basket, I will just pull for bedtime, because we do have a routine of reading before bed. We sit up in our loft, we have a couch up there, and everyone just kind of sits around, and it is a nice transition into bedtime. So I will save anything that maybe we didn't get to that morning to do it at night when it's permitting, when we don't have sports or activities. So that is my plan. That is how I plan to make Sonlight 2 cores work together. I will use the guides as the framework, but I will not stick to the page numbers exactly for the day, and I am totally okay with that. My kids are still going to end up listening to all of the books in our school year, and hearing some really great literature. So that is my plan, to kind of incorporate Julie Bogart's morning basket into our homeschool, utilizing our literature we received from Sonlight. So I hope that helps any of you moms out there who might be wondering how you can make it work where it's not overwhelming. I think the system will work out well. If you guys have any questions, as always, comment down below. I love to chat with you. If any of you guys out there are doing 2 Sonlight cores, I would love to know which ones you're doing, and I will see you guys in my next video. Thanks for watching. Bye guys.